Okay, we're looking at 6.3, solving proportions using cross products. Um, every pair of ratios has two different cross products, and a cross product is basically the product of the numerator of one ratio and the denominator of the other. So I've got a two pair of ratios here, and I'm showing you an example of a cross product. So this ratio has two cross products. It's the numerator of this one multiplied to the numerator of this one. Also, the denominator of this one, the denominator of this ratio multiplied to the numerator of this one. Same here. Numerator here multiplied to the denominator here. The denominator here multiplied to the numerator. So each pair of ratios has two cross products. And there's something about cross products that we're going to use to solve proportions. Now, what we need to know today is that the cross products of a proportion are equal. And if we look back here at what we just did, um, if these are equal, then it's a proportion. So if we multiply 3 times 10, we get 30. 5 times 6 is 30. So this actually forms a proportion, meaning I can put an equal sign between them because the fractions are equal. Here I've got 22, and then I've got 18. These are not equal cross products, so this is not a proportion. Let's look at these. So what we want to do is tell whether they're a proportion based on their cross products. So I'm going to multiply the cross products together and see if they're equal. Okay, 6 times 7 is 42. 3 times 14 is 42. Cross products are equal, so yes, it forms a proportion, meaning we can put an equal sign between them, meaning the fractions are equal. Okay, here we need to multiply 14 times 20, and then 8 and 35. Okay, 14 times 20, that's 280. 8 and 3, 24 plus 4 is 280. Cross products are equal. This forms a proportion. Very good. Let's multiply these two cross products. 6 times 16 and 9 times 11. Well, this is 99. This is going to be 96. These two cross products are not equal, so this is not a proportion. These do not form a proportion. Look at another one. I've got 240. Then I've got 160 plus 80. I'm sorry, I wrote 250. This should be 240. 240 is equal to 240, so yes, this forms a proportion. Okay, looking at the next one, I've got 80 here. 5 times 16 is 80. 80 does equal 80, so yes, this forms a proportion. Here I've got 40 times 25. That is going to be, okay, and then 8 times 25, that's going to be 40, 16, that's going to be 20, 8 times 28, 9, 10. 1,000 equals 1,000. Yes, this forms a proportion. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to solve using cross products. Okay, so I just simply, when I'm solving, multiply the numerator of one to the denominator of the other, then the numerator here with the denominator here. That's going to be 12 and 12, 132. Okay, then I'll simply divide both sides by 18, and I get x equal to, so we get 132 divided by 18, and that gives us kind of something not really pretty. But what we can do is we can write it in fraction form, or we can just put it in decimal form. If we're going to put it in decimal form, it'd be 7.3 repeating. Okay, or that would be 7 2/3 if we want to do that. Since we have a calculator, let's just go ahead. Generally, when we start with a fraction, we end with a fraction, but I don't mind here. Just go ahead and put it in fraction form, decimal form if we need to. Multiply 10 and x together. Then I got 45 times 16. That's 720. Divide by 10. Divide by 10. X equals 72. Here I got 1.5x equals 63. Divide both sides by 1.5, and that's going to give us 42. Okay, let's see. We have zero point 0.4 times x here, and we have 6 times 18, which is 108. And we're going to divide both sides by zero point 0.4. So x equals 270. So we're using the we take the cross products. We've got a simple equation, and it's just one step. So we just divide after we do that. Cross products here, 24x equals 72. Okay, so we're going to divide by 24, both sides. And x is equal to 3. So again, the cross products gives us a very easy equation, simple equation to solve. We just simply divide, and we're done. Let's do 60x here equals, let's see, it's 150 plus, that's 180. Divide by 60. Divide by 60, x is equal to 3. And again, using cross products, we set up a simple equation. We divide both sides to solve. Um, so moving on to the next section, let's look at a word problem. Again, we're going to set up a proportion and solve. Human hair grows about 0.7 centimeters in 2 weeks. Well, these two bits of information go together. Okay, how long does it take? How long does hair take? That's x to grow 14 centimeters. So I'll make a proportion. Okay, 0.7 and 2 weeks go together. It doesn't matter which one goes on top. But since 0.7 went on top here, then because that is length, x has to go on top here. I've got to match length to length. I'm sorry. That is actually, x does not, length, it's time. Time is 2 weeks here. I've got to match time with time, which is x. So that is going to be 14 centimeters for the top. So I'm going to do a cross product. 0.7x is equal to 28. I'm going to divide by 0.7. X equals, well, 7 into 28 goes 4 times. So 0.7 should go 40 times. So that would be 40 weeks. Okay, moving on to the last word problem. You made a 12-minute phone call using a calling card. The call cost 66 cents. Well, this and this will go together. Okay, there's $1.21 left on your calling card. The cost per minute of long distance calls is constant. How many more minutes? Well, that is X. Can you talk long distance using your calling card? Well, I'm going to make a proportion, and these two bits of information go together. 12 and 66. Now, how many more minutes? X is minutes. Where are minutes in my first ratio? Well, it's right here on top, so X has to go on top here. And then I've got $1.21 on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply 0.66x equals, I've got 12 times $1.21, and this is where it's kind of nice to have a calculator. I've got 1452. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.66. So x should be equal to 22. So I can talk for another 22 minutes using, if I'm going to spell minutes right, very ugly, using this phone calling card. Okay, and that should conclude cross products.